So today we continue with our class Laws of Shabbos. Today it's class number 48. And we start with Sefer Chafetz Chaim. We're on page 142. And a big topic is 7 conditions. And today's topic, be accurate. Condition number 5. While derogatory information may be related for a constructive purpose, slander cannot be justified. Okay, slander cannot be justified. Slander means like something negative against somebody, right? Which is not true. One does not have the right to exaggerate or alter the facts for a constructive purpose, nor may one omit details that minimize the severity of the person's actions. Okay, so slander meaning that you say something that is not you, but somebody say about somebody else that it's not true. So it could be in a form of exaggeration. So even the fact, whatever we start saying is true, but he like added details, which is not true. So that's slander, 100%. Or he just skipped some details, minimize the severity of the action, like some very important details, right? So that's also a big problem. Indiscriminate use of superlatives such as very can easily distort the facts way out of the proportion. So I mean, this was very like when we say like it's even like the fact that you were saying is true, but you added the word very, and that's it. This, in fact, the most common form of slander that people engage in, albeit unwittingly. So even though, I mean, they say that maybe that's not what they meant, and maybe that's the way they speak, but the damage is done, basically. Conversely, one must omit authentic details that make the story sound even worse if the result can be attained without their being mentioned. So, I mean, if 2 details enough, so you don't have to give all of the details from the time of Achashverosh, basically. Okay, so we stop here. So continue. So today, with HaShem, we're going to finish this chapter, the very end of the chapter of sowing, right? And this starts with practical applications. A, opening sukkah roof, which has a rain water on it. Okay. So number 1, the sukkah is standing on the grass. Okay, the sukkah is standing on the grass. So okay. The common practice in a place to place covering on top of the sukkah in order to prevent rain from falling into the sukkah. Lifting the cover may cause the water from the top of the covering to fall on the grass or trees. There is discussion among the poskim whether or not this is permissible. Those who prohibit do so based on the principle of psikration, the inevitable occurrence. Since the grass or tree will inevitably get watered as a result of the lifting the covering. Okay, so let's try to understand. So we have this sukkah, like a hut, right, standing on the grass, and it was raining. So you cover it with a plastic or some material that water resistant, right? In order, so inside of the sukkah it should be dry. So otherwise the water is going to get in. That's not what we want. So now it's all like next day, let's say, it was rain overnight. So next day you want to remove this plastic because you want to sit in the sukkah. So problem is because the sukkah standing on the grass, so inevitably this psikration, as we said, it's cutting the chicken's head, right? And expecting chicken to be alive, right? That's not your, even though you can say it's not my attention, but the water from the roof is going to go on the grass, and it's going to water the grass or bushes or flowers, whatever is next to the sukkah. So that's the problem. So those poskim who prohibit say that's for sure inevitable event. Continue. Yes, go ahead.
Are you allowed to water plants and so on and so forth on Chol or no?
On Cholomot you're allowed, yes.
Understood.
Okay. There are, however, few solutions to the problem. Solution to the problem. A, ask a non-Jew to open it. One is permitted to tell a non-Jew to do permissible action, lifting the covering, even though it will inevitably result the prohibited malacha being performed watering the grass. So it's one of the things that, as we said before, it's not our we're going to discuss as a separate topic what you can and what you cannot ask non-Jew to do. So here, basically, you're asking to do something that is going to lead or might lead to the Torah prohibition, right? But since it is for the sake of the mitzvah, and since it is indirect, right? So it is the outside is allowed. That's one solution. So ask non-Jew to remove this plastic from the sukkah. B, place a plastic cover on the ground in order that the water fall on it. Subsequently, if the water roll off into the grass, it is permitted. This is based on the principle that melacha performed through the grama indirectly is permitted on Shabbos for the sake of the mitzvah. So what they're saying here, so you have, for example, you're going to remove this cover from the sukkah and you're going to flip it to the left. So on the left side of the sukkah, you put some kind of plastic, right? I mean, a big piece of plastic. So the water from the top of the sukkah is going to go on that plastic. Even though it's going to, of course, it's going to flow over the plastic, all of it or part of it, doesn't make any difference on the grass. But since it is very, very indirect, right? So, and for the sake of the mitzvah, so there is no problem. Since watering the grass, in this case, is done indirectly, for the water first falls on a plastic and only then rolls into the grass, the melacha is permitted. In the event that neither of this solution is practical, some poskim rule that if the grass is still wet from the rain, one is permitted to open the cover. So here's poskim who said there is no problem only when it's wet. For example, the rain just finished, I don't know, 15 minutes ago, 30 minutes, it's all soaking wet. And in this case, you can remove the cover from the sukkah. It's not going to add too much to the water. I mean, it's all wet as it is. So which is also makes sense. Since the earth is still wet from the rain, and added water from the sukkah covering is not beneficial for the tree or grass. Okay, so I mean it's not adding anything. And opening the cover is therefore not forbidden. Okay. So that's a solution. Okay, number 2. The sukkah is standing on a porch or a pavement. Meaning a porch, I guess maybe it's a wooden porch, and pavement meaning like cement, right? If sukkah is standing on a porch or pavement, and the water will first spill onto the porch, floor, or a pavement before running off the grass, off to the grass, it is permitted to open the covering. Since the water falls into the grass through the grama indirectly, it is permitted. So see above. So that's what we said before. So if you, I mean, since it is not directly you're causing the grass to be watered, so they say no problem. So we can rely on this opinion, of course. Okay, B. Water collected in outdoors chair or table. That's very interesting, right? So let's say you did not cover the sukkah, and let's say the sukkah is standing on the ground, and now you came and you have this plastic chairs, let's say, right? And then you have water collected where the seats are. Let's say the ground is dry, so you're not allowed to spill this water from the chair. It's like you're watering. It's very interesting. So let's see. One may not remove the water from the chair, bench, or table. Right? That is outdoors if the water will fall onto the grass or tree because one watering the tree or grass. It's exactly like from the roof. But I guess it's my understanding that if roof is going to dry faster because it's like the wind is going to blow The sun is going to shine on it, so it's going to dry faster. But this chair inside of the sukkah is not going to, this water is not going to evaporate that fast because it's protected by the walls. So that's a bigger problem. Okay, so basically the way I see it, you have to be prepared. Before you install your sukkah, you have to understand what exactly you're going to do. Like make sure, the best, of course, to put it on a pavement, not on the grass, right? But if you put it on the grass, like think the way you're going to do. Like after the rain, you can just clean the table from the water, clean the chairs, and then there is no problem. Then you, like, if a few drops left, you can wipe it with a towel. That's it. Okay. Next one, septic tanks, cesspool sewer. Okay. Causing water to flow from the septic tank, cesspool or sewer directly into the plants or grass is included in the melacha of zoreya. Therefore, using a sink or bathroom that causes such water to flow is problematic. One should consult halakhic authority for the guidance. I'm not sure how these things work. So basically, it's some kind of, you have septic tanks. So you don't live in the city. A person lives somewhere like outside of the city limits, and they have septic tanks. So we all have sewer. All the pipes, they go to city pipes, and no, there is no problem. But for them, they have a big tank where all of the water and all of the waste is collected. So basically, they say, so if you, I'm not sure how is it filtered. So the water, maybe it's clean water or maybe not so clean water. If it go over, and it's going to water the trees. So that's the problem. Okay. So I mean, problem using the sink or the bathroom. That's the issue. Okay. D, water sprinkles. One is permitted to have automatic water sprinkles. Water or grass on Shabbos. So there is no problem. However, the poskim advise that the sprinkles should be turned off prior Shabbos because it is Zilzul Shabbos, disparagement of Shabbos. I mean, but today, for example, in areas when it's very hot and the plants need to be watered every day, so they say there is no problem because everybody knows that you're using the timer, so it's not doing like manually. Okay. E, opening curtain next to the plant. Okay, so let's see. The poskim discuss whether or not it is permitted to open a window shade or a curtain when the sun will shine directly on the plant. So as we understand, the plant is going to benefit from the shine, right? Since the sunlight is beneficial to the growth of the plant, it is considered zoreya. However, the poskim agree that if the person's intent is merely to brighten the room, one is permitted to open the shade or a curtain. So basically, if your intent, you need light in that room. So, and you open, and it happens to be that this plant is standing next to the window. I mean, that's usually the case. So, I mean, everybody agree that there is no problem, which is good.
Great question. So as far as I know, so the same goes with stairs then, right? So let's say you could see up the stairs without the light, and then there's an automatic light. You can still go, correct?
I didn't get it. Say it again. The automatic light, like a sensor, the sensor light?
Yes.
What was the connection? I didn't get it.
I'm saying, so for example, over here it says, why is it allowed? Because the purpose is simply that, and this is a secondary effect. It's a secondary effect that sunlight is going to come. So same over there.
No, okay, no, it's not secondary. Sorry, your intention is to lighten up the room. So you open the shades, okay, and as a side effect, so this plant is going to go more sunlight. Okay, but what is the connection with this explain, please.
For example, over there, walking up the stairs over here, it's just you want sunlight in your room, so you open it up. And over there, you just want to get up the stairs, and the side effect is also that the light turns on. So two malachas, just it's a side effect. No? Even though you're doing it directly because it's a different purpose.
Mm-hmm. So when you know that it's not allowed to trigger the light. So the question is, our question is, why is on one hand it says it's not allowed. So if you know that it's going to turn on, you're not allowed to walk. Well, in that way, like outside or in your house on one hand. On the other hand, there is poskim that say exactly as you say. So it's not your intention. So my intention is, for example, you know that you're in order, let's say, in order for you to get home, you have to pass your neighbor, and your neighbor, like let's say, two of your neighbors from the left and from your right, they have this sensors light. Okay, so there is no way for you to get home unless you trigger that light. So in this case, in the case of like absolute necessity, so they say since there is no other way, so they would allow, because it's not your intention. So, but you're right. I mean, there is similarity to the case, but in most of the cases we go stringently and we try not to trigger the light. So, but you're right. I mean, same rationale they use in there. Yes. Okay. So if you have no other choice. If you have no other choice, like I think they say a story about Rav Ovadia. So I think he was like a guest of honor somewhere on Shabbat somewhere, right? And he went to in a hotel, a big hotel, it's Shabbaton, I don't know what was it, and he went to the bathroom. And in Israel, they're trying to save lights, right? It's electricity. So they had this light. I don't know, maybe he spent another few minutes, and the light went off. So he could not move, basically. So he got stuck in the restroom. So people waiting. So and then one guy came in, this one of the waiters or stuff like that, and he was like ran out of the bathroom. So that's the story. So meaning not to do that. So even though it would be like big embarrassment, like everybody's waiting for him to speak. Nobody started eating. I don't know what was the arrangement, but. He preferred to not to break this law. Okay. Serving drinks outdoors. It is permissible to make a kiddush outdoors on Shabbos. However, care must be taken not to spill water or drinks into the grass. So, for example, somebody is drinking something and say, "You want to try this?" And he like automatically spill whatever some water, whatever was in his cup to the grass. That's the problem. I mean, during the week, it's not a problem. But for Shabbos, it is a problem. All right, so we finished that melacha. We're on page 246, and we started with new melacha, which is called plowing.
Rabbi, question.
Yes.
Let's say you soak a shirt. You do a melacha on Shabbos by soaking the shirt and putting it outside to dry. Okay, by putting it on your porch to dry. My question is, does it go against the second malacha as well because it's on the porch? It's on the porch, so the wood.
Yes. Okay. Oh! So the water from your shirt is dripping on. Yes. Of course, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yes. Wow. And plus marisain, as we said before, so people suspect that you just washed it. Okay. So plowing, the avmilacha. Chorej, plowing is one of the 39 hours melachas. Plowing was required for the construction of Beis HaMikdash, since vegetable dyes were used to color the fabrics in the Mishkan. It was necessary to plow the ground to prepare for planting herbs used as dyes. Okay, so it's very simple. So as we like many melachas revolved around this dyes procedure, right? So The first procedure, because you actually technically plowing should come before the sowing. So before you can sow, you can put the seed in the ground. You have to plow. You have to open up, make a hole for this seed, and only then you sow. But okay. Definition. The definition of Melacha Choresh is plowing the ground for the purpose of preparing the earth for planting or sowing. Okay. Therefore, any type of work performed on the earth to achieve this result is equivalent to plowing. Okay. So it's very interesting. So definition said that you be preparing the earth for planting or sowing. Okay. So all the similar activities, and we will see like many interesting cases that would fall under this prohibition. Part number 3, where the melacha is applicable. The melacha only applies to plowing or to any other methods of losing the soil that could possibly improve the land. Possibly improve the land. It doesn't mean that we only like to put the seeds in the ground, right? For planting. If, however, the land is not fit for cultivation, the melacha does not apply. So only in a fertile soil, as we said. Thus, for example, plowing in a desert is not prohibited because the earth is unfit for planting. Okay, so basically planting and plowing, as we see, tightly connected.
So this melacha doesn't apply in the winter then?
Say it again.
Does this melacha apply in the winter or no?
In the winter, yeah. In the winter, like I mean, if you can plant in the winter, so if this seed is going to survive, so like for example, I know that many flowers or many plants they plant in the fall. You understand? Not in the spring, in the fall, so it would survive the winter, and it's started like blooming in the spring, or in the summer. Yeah, so that applies. Okay. So now number 4, achieving activities included in the melacha of plowing. Okay, so let's see. As stated above, the purpose of plowing is to prepare the earth for planting. Therefore, the following labors are included in the melacha of plowing because each one improves the earth's same manner for planting. Okay, so what are those? A, plowing and loosening the ground. So of course, the plowing, like with the plow, it's included in this prohibition. Okay. B, leveling the ground, and we're going to see level. Meaning it was some hole in it was hill, and it's trying to level this hill. Okay, so it's all also improving the ground. C, making furrows in the ground. So making furrows, for example, when you drag something heavy, right? You have a heavy chair or heavy bench, right? And you drag over the ground, so you will make furrows. D, removing obstacles from the ground. So meaning what? So you have this huge boulder, doesn't matter, not huge, some stones, and the earth was not fertile, it could not grow under this boulder. Now you moved it away, so now it's fertile. So it's also improving the ground. So okay, so as we see, like many applications. E, fertilizing the ground, the soil, fertilizing. Okay. F, making holes in the ground. So I think they make it holes for the air to go in easier. I think
it seems like you said some of these malachas shouldn't apply in the winter. For example, making holes in the ground. If you do it in the winter, it won't survive in throughout the winter, and in the summer it'll be like new, no?
No, I'm making holes in the ground. So I think it's like you improving the ground. So if you have a hole in the ground, so maybe more water is going to go in, like deeper. You understand? So, and it's water and melting snow. We know that it's improved the ground a lot. Like when you see in the spring, everything starts blooming like huge, right? So that's from all of the improvements. Okay. So A. So we start. So we have what is it? 6 things. So we go in according to the list. Plowing and loosening the ground. A, number 1, Avmilah. As mentioned above, just a second, let me close the window, 1 second. So number 1 again, plowing or losing the ground, the Avmilah. As mentioned above, plowing the ground was necessary during the construction of the mission in order to plant the herbs from which the dye was prepared for coloring tapestries. Okay, all of these things in a tabernacle, and plus all of this clothes for Kohanim, whatever was it, right? Plowing which prepares the soil for the seeds and roots to enter the ground is therefore Avmilah. So plowing is a main prohibition, Avmilah. The prohibition of plowing includes both making furrows and digging holes. Each of these labors improve the ground for planting the seeds. So basically, the furrow is like a long strip of land that you overturn. So when you want to put like many seeds, and making hole, it's like for single seed, right? So I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, furrow is like much more productive, but it could also be for a tree or for a small bush, whatever they do. It could be just a hole. Number 2. Methods performing the melacha. Okay, the melacha is performed by breaking up the soil with a plow, hoe, or spade. So it doesn't matter like with what instrument you're doing this. Right? Similarly, one transgresses the melacha, even one does not use special tool for digging. For example, stick, spoon, or one shoes. So even with one shoe, if it's like soft ground, he can make a hole, right? With one's heel, let's say, right? Provided it is the usual methods of breaking up the herbs. Okay. Therefore, once transgresses the prohibition, even if an animal or a machine performs the plowing, provided that persons guide the animal or the machine. So let's last sentence one more time. Furthermore, one that transgresses the prohibition, even if an animal or a machine performs the plowing, provided the persons guide the animal or the machine. So basically, he did not do anything like explicitly, but he was telling the animal. Let's say the animal listens to him, and this bull or cow goes by itself. It knows what to do. So it's his responsibility. Okay. Continue. Number 3, amount required for prohibition. One transgresses the prohibition of choresh by plowing or digging even minute piece of soil. So minute piece of soil. Right. Number 4, losing the ground through liquid. Interesting, right? Pouring water or other liquids onto the ground is included in the melacha choresh because the liquid softens the ground and therefore similar to plowing. So very interesting similarities. So as you said, the purpose of the plowing is to make the soil ready to accept the seed, right? So of course, like digging deeper inside. Otherwise, if you just put it, like throw the seeds on top of the ground, maybe it's not something that happened, maybe not. But if you put it inside of the ground, it's easier. So they say pour in water, so you make the ground like softer, so you can maybe stick the seed inside of the ground. However, this is only forbidden if the ground will be planted or the seeds while it is still wet. Okay, so they say, so if you want to plant while this ground is still wet, only then you're going to break this melacha. Otherwise, if you just pour the water, so it's going to be the previous melacha, right? Watering the plants, the earth, right? So, but this melacha is not going to apply because that's not you didn't water the soil for the purpose of seeding. If nothing will be done until after the soil dried, one will not transgress the melacha, since no benefit will have come from watering the soil. Okay, so which is like straightforward, right? So if you wait until it dries, so it's like this watering was for no use. If one pours water in a place where the plants are growing in the ground, he also transgressed the melacha zoreh, planting. So that's previous melacha that we learned. Okay. B, pouring strong liquids. Pouring harsh liquids into the soil is not prohibited, even though the soil is thereby softened. Such a liquid do not make the soil more suitable for planting, and in reality damage it. Consequently, the purpose of the melacha, preparing the ground for the planting, is not achieved. I don't know, like somebody would take like Clorox, or he would take like I don't know, like some things that we spray like to repel the insects and stuff like that. So if you like spill these things on the ground, it's for sure it's not beneficial for the ground. Okay, so now we're going to instance B, and it says leveling the ground. Leveling the surface of the ground by removing mounds and filling a hole with the earth in order to facilitate planting is a talada. So talada, we say it's like offshoot, right? Of hedge, plowing, because the ground is thereby improved for planting. So it's not it's not like you prepare it in a hole, like to put the seeds on one hand. On another hand, the way I see it, I mean they don't say, but the way I see it, when you try to remove the mold, the mount, right, and put it into the hole and fill up the hole. So basically, this spot is going to be softer, right? So since you move from one place to another. So, but they call it talada.
My question.
Yes.
Would it be forbidden to, let's say, eat a pomegranate on the ground in these cases? Because a lot of seeds might spill on the ground.
Of course. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah. I mean, if you have a big plate, let's say, and you're careful not to let the seed fly away, so that's one thing. But if you give kids to play with it, of course, they're going to yeah. That's okay. So whether they're going to grow, whether it's going to be a pomegranate tree or not, it's a different story. But still, the melacha is done, right? Okay. In early days, many homes had the earthen floors. That's a different story, right? These floors, in the course of time, would become unleveled from the people walking over them, and thus needed to level again. Leveling an earthen floor is violation of the melacha of boineh, building, not plowing, because the earth inside the house is in any case not fit for planting. Since the leveling improved the use of the ground's surface as a part of the house, it's considered building. Okay, so we didn't learn it, but just the explanation. So one of the prohibition, one of the 39 melachas is a building. So you cannot build, right? But they say when you try to build, when you start to build the house, you start with foundation. So what do? Like if you saw in new constructions, for example, what they do, they try to level the ground to make it straight, and only then they can build on top of it. If the ground is not straight, it's not going to work. So basically, what they were doing in the olden days, so that they would build without any foundation, the way I understand, right? Or maybe a little foundation, not too deep, and without floors. So no basements, right? No floors, meaning earthen floors. So and of course people walk, like say around the let's say in the middle of the room they have a table, dining table. So they so around the tables it was when the people walk more, it would be like the ground would be like lower than in other places. So what they would do, when they sweep the floor, right, in this earthen floor, they would level the ground. So and for many years, so the prohibition was that you're not allowed to sweep on Shabbos, but sweeping meaning only in this circumstance, meaning if you're going to level the floor. Today, when you sweep hardwood floor or ceramic tile floors, I mean, of course, it does not apply. But as they say, the prohibition of the leveling the floors in the house is a melacha of building. So meaning that you're improving place where your house stands. So of course you're not going to grow the tomatoes and other things. Okay, that's very interesting insight. Okay, so now we're going to in a subcategory. So activities forbidden to prevent leveling the ground. Okay. So as we said, leveling the ground is improve the ground for planting. Since leveling the ground or the fields violates the melacha of plowing, the leveling the ground of the floor or path, ground inside of the building, violates the melacha of building. The following activities were prohibited by the sages in order to prevent such a transgression: A, sweeping the floor, as you just explained, washing the floor. So I'm not sure how would they wash the floor? I'm not sure, like it's an earthen floor, but let's say, I think they're going to explain. And rolling ball. So one of the things, like even today, they say, why are you not allowed to play ball? Because first of all, it's a waste of time. It's the desecration, not desecration of Shabbos, but zilzul of Shabbos. It's like the disparagement of Shabbos. It's not in honor of Shabbos, right? And in olden days, so you would level the ground. That's the third issue. So A, sweeping the floors. The sages prohibited sweeping an earthen floor on Shabbos because inevitably some uneven areas of the ground will be leveled out, which makes sense. I mean, you sweep from the higher ground to the lower, and some like things are going to get filled, some holes. Right? The sages extend the prohibition or to non-earthen floor as well in order to prevent one from mistakenly sweeping the earthen floor areas. Okay, so they say I'm going to read one more time because we're going to say later on differently. So it says the sages extended the prohibition non-earthen floor, meaning even if you have this hardwood floor, right? As well in order to prevent one from mistakenly sweeping the earthen floor. So they say do not sweep the floor, period, in some sense, right? So because people do not know the difference between the floors. However, the sages did permit sweeping non-earthen floor in the cities in which most homes have constructed rather than the earthen floors. So, but in a city when most of the people have only, like, I don't know, I think everybody have this some kind of not earthen floor, so whatever, ceramic tiles, stone, whatever, like wood floor, right? So it's not a problem. According to today, one is permitted to sweep the floor. However, it must be done with a soft broom whose bristles do not break. Sweeping a paved yard in front of the house is permitted, even the area beyond the earthen. Area beyond is earthen. So meaning some of your front yard or yard is cement, and after that comes earthen. Okay, so there is no problem. You just sweep here and don't go there. The pavement in front of the one's house is deemed and is extension of the house, whereas the remaining area is not. So if it's like a cement floor, this pavement, so there is no problem. You can sweep. I don't know, maybe like somebody spilled something. I don't know what happened. Maybe the kids were eating cereal and now it's all over the place. So you want to sweep a little, so it's not a problem. Okay. So B, washing the floors. Washing the earthen surface, earthen floors, is prohibited because one may inadvertently level the earth in the process. So basically, yes, we're talking about washing these earthen floors. I'm not sure how it works. I mean, it would create mud, but that's what it is. Here, two sages extended the prohibition to non-earthen floors out of the concern what one may mistakenly wash the earthen floor. So not to confuse everybody, so they gave one in the same ruling that you're not allowed to wash floors on Shabbos, and that's it. Some poskim rule that the prohibition is applicable even in cities where most of the homes have non-earthen floors. Okay, so very interesting. So some poskim, as we said. So they say even in the city you cannot wash the floors on Shabbos. They distinguished between the sweeping the floors and washing floors. Sweeping floor is considered accepted a daily necessity, right? The sages therefore did not prohibit sweeping a non-earthen surface, whereas most homes have such floors, because it would impose a significant hardship. So they say, okay, so they say basically sages say there is a big difference between washing and sweeping. So like how many times a week you wash? Maybe once, twice, it depends on the person, right? But how many times you sweep? Many times, like not maybe every day, every other day. Basically, the sweeping is much more like it's done much more often than the washing before, right? However, and plus, I mean, if you spill something, and if they're not going to let you sweep, it's going to be like, as I say, significant hardship. However, washing the floor is not customarily considered daily necessity, since refraining from washing the floor on Shabbos would not impose any undue hardship. The sages prohibited washing any type of the floor on Shabbos. So, as we said before, you can wipe with the spill on Shabbos, but not to wash the floors. Okay. In a situation when a non-earthen surface is very dirty, right? There is, for example, there is excrement on the floor. One may spray the cleaning fluid, for example, Windex, to clean the area. This is not considered washing. Okay, so meaning spot wash. You have a baby and he did whatever he did. Okay, so spot wash, no problem. Washing is defined as deliberately pouring liquid onto the floor for the purpose of cleaning. So very interesting. For washing is defined as deliberately pouring liquid onto the floors for the purpose of cleaning. However, wiping up a spill involves other halakhic consideration. Wiping up the spills. So they say see Shabbos kitchen, page 196. Okay, so basically the problem with wiping up the spills, as we said before, is because we're afraid that he's going to squeeze, right, to ring the thing that he used, right? But we said there's if he uses like paper towels or some rag that he's ready to throw out, there is no problem. He's not going to squeeze it, basically. Okay. Even though one is forbidden to wash floors on Shabbos, one is permitted, however, to sprinkle water of any time on the floor in order to settle the dust. Okay, so I guess like sometimes in the summer you have, or in the spring you have these trees that are growing outside and you have too much dust. We have this yellow dust from trees like next to our house. So it doesn't matter. You can wash your floor clean, like 2 hours later you have this dust everywhere, like, and it goes like for a few months, like every day. It's like people who have allergy, they suffer from this dust. Not good. Okay. All right. So C, rolling the rolling balls. Poskim prohibit rolling a ball in a similar object on the earthen surface because of the concern that it may level the ground to provide a smooth surface on which the roll the ball. Okay, so basically that's what it is. I mean, so people who play basketball, let's say, or whatever they, soccer, football, whatever they play, so they cannot play it on the grass, basically. Therefore, it is forbidden to play soccer outdoors, even if it is the Eruv. So, meaning that there is no problem that you're transferring the ball from one side to another, right? So from place to place. the issue is that you're leveling the ground. Similarly, playing basketball on an earthen surface is forbidden because the game cannot properly be played on uneven surface, right? Meaning that the person would want to level the ground. Otherwise, the way, I'm not a basketball expert, but I guess if you have some uneven mounts and stuff like that, so the ball is going to bounce not in the direction that you are intended to. That's my guess. Hence, the concern that one may level the ground and transgress the melacha of building is in effect. Okay, so not to play on the ground. Some poskim permit rolling a ball of on a non-earthen surface. Okay, however, most poskim rule that the prohibition included on all surfaces. I'm not sure why, but that's what they say, on all surfaces. Okay. Accordingly, one may also forbidden to play soccer or basketball even on concrete surface. Okay, I'm not sure why they say this. Okay, not sure. All authorities agree that one is permitted to roll a ball on a covered, there is carpet floors. The rabbinic ban applies only to uncovered floor, which might be confused with the earthen floor. So it's very interesting. A covered floor will surely not be mistaken for earthen floor. So they say if you're allowed to for them to play soccer on a pavement, so they would say maybe on earth is also no problem, on the grass also no problem. But if you allow only on a carpet floor, so they would not confuse it with the earthen floor. Okay.
So also, you're allowed to play basketball indoors, but I thought there are other problems with it. No.
So I mean, they say some poskim. Some poskim said that not on any surface except a carpeted one.
No. What's it called? As far as I understand, all surfaces except covered floor, because over here it says all authorities agree that one is permitted to roll a ball on covered floor.
Yes, but that's what I said. Covered means carpeted. You
Oh,
can
that's what it means. Okay, so let's say I put plastic over it on an indoor, allowed or not?
I mean, technically, I mean, there are many authorities that they say there is no problem, because I mean, you're not going to level this hardwood floor for sure. Yeah.
Wait, then I have this question. Let's say it's an earthenware floor, right? It's bumpy. And then over it, let's say, I don't know, let's say you put a carpet over it, let's say, okay? In this situation, also it shouldn't be allowed. Why? Because the kids will say, hey, it's a bumpy floor, let's take off this carpet and let's level it, right? According to this logic.
Exactly.
But it's allowed if it's covered on an earthenware floor and it's bumpy.
It is. I mean, it is like, so. This explanation that they give, it's like I don't know. I understand where they're coming from, but I think they give too much credit to people. Like they would compare one to another. So covered and not covered. I mean, until I would read this, I would not, me personally, draw such a conclusion that this is allowed because it is covered, and this is not allowed because it's not covered. I don't know. So for me, it would be easier to understand if you can level the ground or you cannot level the ground. So carpet you cannot level, right? This hardwood floors, pavements you cannot level, but this like grass and soil, of course you can level because it's softer. So that's would be my understanding.
Understood.
Okay. Continue. D, plain kugelach. It is permitted to play kugelach indoors on the floor. I'm not sure what was it. Sorry. I don't know. C, making pharaohs on the ground. Making pharaohs on the ground. So let me see how much it was. Oh, no, that's too much. Okay. Making pharaohs on the ground. Making pharaohs on the ground is included in the Av Milacha of hedge. You know, it's too much material. I'm not sure. Let's. I guess we can leave it for the next time. I mean, because I don't like to stop in the middle of the paragraph. So let's. We can go to the questions if you have any questions about what we say or what we did not say.
I have one.
Please go ahead.
We are talking about Shabbat or every day?
No, Shabbat only. Shabbat and Yom Tov.
Oh yes. So now I think we are entering in Shemitah year, or no?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So
it would be like a whole year of rest days without working, or it's only for every
no. It's only so the question is the Shemitah year start this after Rosh Hashanah, right? So the Shemitah year means that you're not allowed to work the land in Eretz Israel, not here. So in exile you can work the land. So basically what they say, so Hashem said the work is mine, and you're not working the land. You do what the Jewish created to do. What? To go learn in Yeshiva. So and how the Jewish said, how I'm going to feed the family. So Hashem said, in a year 6 of the 7-year cycle, I'm going to give you for 3 years, for 6, 7, and 8, because you need to eat until the next produce after you sow the ground, after you work the land. You need sometimes for the produce to grow, right? And you need seeds. So Hashem said, I'm going to give you extra, so you don't worry. You just go and basically learn the Torah. So of course it's this halacha is the biggest test of a Jew, right? Not to work with the land and rely on the pure miracles of Hashem. And they say, and during the first Beis Hamikdash, they did not absorb for many years, and for many years, and because of that, so for each year, I think we get 1 year of exile, I think, right? So for 1 year, 1 year of exile. So we were in exile for 70 years between the first Beis Hamikdash and second Beis Hamikdash, basically.
But
So,
it would be allowed in outside Eretz Israel. It would be allowed to work the land. So
no,
there
but
is
only in Eretz Israel. So Hashem said, "It's my land. Just leave it be." So anybody, I give it to anybody. So anybody. So of course, with these Arabs, it's not going to work easily. So anybody can come to your field, and he can take as much as he wants. Of course, the produce is going to grow by itself. Of course, not as much as you would work on it, but it's going to grow, right? All of these orchards are going to grow. So you're not allowed to improve the land. So you're not allowed to like prune the trees, like I'm not sure. I think even watering is not allowed.
And the last question is about the playing soccer. We talked recently. Playing soccer or basketball.
What is the connection? What is the question?
No, I missed. I thought in asking before, but is this forbidden on Shabbos playing sports?
Yeah. So we say, well, why is it forbidden on Shabbos? Because with a ball you're going to level the ground.
Oh,
with the ball bouncing, you're going to level, and then with your running around on this piece of land, you're going to level the ground, and maybe you can even like cheer off some grass, also possible. So there are many prohibitions that can be, but as we said, on pavement is not such a big prohibition, even though it's a waste of time and life. Okay, ready?
What's it called? So what's the bracha on baklava and sushi? Both. Yeah.
On what? The first one was what? Sushi
baklava. Baklava.
Baklava? Okay,
yeah,
so no, baklava is. I'm not sure. It's a misogynist, no? Why do you think it's different? Or
so I'll tell you this. I saw it online. Maybe it was some brand, I think. Over there, it's a jackal on Halachapedia. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was.
No, Halachapedia is it's garbage source. Okay, don't be trusted with baklava. The way I understand, I mean, if we're talking about the same thing, it's this Middle Eastern like cookies, cake with and it's like saturated with honey, correct?
Correct.
So, but it's misogynist 100%. Why would we shifa? I don't understand.
Understood.
It has wheat. So on all of these things that have not all. I don't want to say. I'll take it back. In many things where it has it says wheat, but it says other things. Most likely it's misogynist. So even if you buy this cereal, so you have to be careful, right? So you have cereal, and it says there's cornflakes. Okay, say cornflakes, but you turn around the package, it said wheat, and of course it's cornstarch, but it's mostly wheat. You understand? So I mean, it's not so simple. But with baklava, it's straightforward. So if you have but with sushi, so that's it's not such an easy thing. So I'm going to explain why. So in just summary, I'm going to give you a nutshell because it's B'ezrat Hashem. I'm planning maybe when we finish this to do separate series, and it's going to be like 100 classes only what blessings to make on food. I'm kidding you not. It's so many details. It's very important to know, right? So with the dishes that are mixed together, right? When you eat together, you can say only one bracha. That's enough. One bracha. For example, you eat soup, right? You have soup. You have potato soup. Most of the potato, few pieces of meat. You have water, stuff like that. So the majority is potato and carrots, let's say, right? And as a vegetable. So you say barapricho hadama on this soup, and it's included the broth and included the meat. That's it. One bracha. You don't need two brachas because it's all mixed together. So, but if you have, for example, you have baked potatoes, right? Baked a piece of baked potatoes, and you have chicken, right? That's a meal. So that they're not mixed together. They're two separate things, right? It's not one dish. So they're two different dishes. So in this case, you would say two brachas. I give it on a nutshell. So now we're going to go to
one thing. But over there, if you plan on having, let's say, I don't know, if you have steak and mushrooms, you just make a bracha on the steak, no? You wouldn't just have the mushrooms without the steak.
No, okay. So, one second. So if you I'm going to discuss this case. So you have this steak, and they were cooked with a mushroom to improve the taste, right? And pieces of mushrooms. Of course, the main dish is a steak, and this is just secondary. Of course, there is no question. You say on a steak and cover mushrooms, even though steak and mushrooms have the same blessing. But the main blessing, you do the blessing you make on the main food, right? So though you like mushrooms more, but the main food is a steak, right? As you said, you eat mushrooms because of the steak, not the opposite. Okay, so going back to the sushi. So sushi is not such a easy thing, and I'm going to explain why. So we always say that mizoines is a top. If it's mizoines, so in many cases you have to make the blessing of mizoines because it's very important food. For example, if you have a noodle, right? You have noodle soup, for example. It's easy. You use the same remene mizoines and it's covered, right? But if you only have a little mizoines, like a little noodle, but most of them, I don't know, potato. I don't know if you make such a soup. Most of the potato soup and other vegetables. So you say your blessing on mizoines, and second blessing you say on chadama, basically on potatoes, and it's going to include the rest of the soup. But mizoines you almost always make, almost always. There are exceptions. So when we say mizoines, we mean the five species of grain that the Eretz Yisrael is blessed with, right? So let's try to remember, if I can remember. So I think it's a wheat, rye, oats, spelt, and what is it? What is the fifth one? Oats, spelt.
Barley isn't a grain.
Barley. That's it. Barley.
There you go.
Thank you very much. So if you have any product made of these things, so it's considered mizoines. We give it special precedence. Okay. So, and plus they say since rice. So even though it's not one of the five, it's not. So even the rice is so important for the sustenance of many countries, all of the Eastern countries, all of the Asian countries, they live on rice, right? That's main food. Like we eat bread, they eat basically rice. So on rice, many poskim say that you also have to say baremine mizoines, even though it's not of five species. Others argue. I'm not sure. I don't want to say. I'm not sure what is majority, what is my minority. But some poskim say no. Only on the five species we just mentioned, we say baremine mizoines. On rice, you say barek lichadama, or like on other like grains, right? Like on beans and stuff like that. So some people say, well, what do we do? Right? They try to satisfy all of the opinions. Right? How to satisfy all of the opinions? So you take, for example, a cracker. So for sure it's a baremine mizoines. Small piece, you don't need a lot, right? So you say baremine mizoines, and it's going to cover what is it, this part, this opinion, and you say whatever. You say so in this case you cover rice from all of the angles, and then you of course you mean you have in mind to eat rice, right? So now we get what is important in sushi. What is it? The fish or the rice. So there are lectures that people give for 30 minutes just to explain what is important, what is not important, all the opinions. So the bottom line, since the rice is, I mean, if you eat this fish, you're never going to get satisfied. That's satiated. I mean, satiated, right? So you're still going to be hungry, but you feel you eat some few rolls with a lot of rice, so you get satiated. Like rice is very filling. So you must say the blessing on the rice, and then you say on the fish. You understand? That's the most straightforward approach. So if you don't have this way to say a separate blessing on a cracker and plus on some vegetables, to include rice, so you just say on the rice. So I mean, and they say the blessing on the fish. That's it. Because so even though it's like one dish, even though it's only one dish, okay, so he left. So let's wait 1 second.
I wanted to ask about this light sensors. Can you complain about the person that led this system activated on Shabbat in Eretz Israel?
Say it again, about what?
If you can complain.
Sensors.
Yes, light sensors for automated light.
Yeah, I mean, you can take him to rabbinic court. I mean, you can ask him not to do that, but if he continue do it, you can take him, I think, to rabbinic court. Absolutely, yeah.
To let the system deactivated and the light
yes,
permanently
Shabbos, yes.
on Shabbos.
No, on Shabbos only. Okay, on Shabbos only. Okay. So I thought that David did disappear, but he actually here. David, can you hear us or not?
I can't, sorry.
Okay, all right. I'm not sure what happened, but okay. So let's finish this this tush. So basically, the best way to satisfy all of the opinions, as I say, you say blessing on two type of blessing, barem mizonis on real mizonis, barem chadama on real chadama. Whatever is it? So you need to eat only minute part of it, and then they say shechakol on the fish or whatever you eat, and that's it. You understand? So it would be like, according to majority opinion, some people give you some crazy ideas just because they want to be popular, but that's simple halacha. All right. So I guess we can stop here. I mean, he disappeared again. All right. So let's.
His connection maybe.
Maybe connect. I'm not sure. Yes. So all right. So until the next year, B'ezrat Hashem. So we wish each other. So this Rosh Hashanah, it is a judgment day. So people say, "Oh, Happy New Year." Okay, whatever.
Yes, I didn't understand why so many happy, because for me.
People who do not know that, so they're happy. So yeah, I mean, it's actually Judgment Day. It's a very serious day.
Yes, yeah.
It's very serious day, and when we wish each other, we wish each other to be written in a book of life for the next year. So that's what it is. So we wish each other to have a good judgment, basically. So I wish you all to have a good judgment, been written in the book of life for the next year, B'ezrat Hashem, and until Thursday, right? Until Thursday night, B'ezrat Hashem.
Thank you very much.
So Thursday we have, I just reminded, on Thursday we have a fast. Okay. All right. So have a nice day. Until the next year, B'ezrat Hashem. Thank you. Bye-bye.
אני מברך את הרבי, רגע, אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל אשר יפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
מיאמי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.